This is a tutorial how to repair GMD Clotheez Workhorse diapers. On the left is a diaper I have not repaired, and on the right is one I just finished repairing. I timed myself and it took 9 minutes 30 seconds, and I am not an expert sewist. I would consider myself beginner, and I'm just a pretty slow person in general, so I'm sure you could get it done even faster. If there's any questions you have, let me know. I'll do my best to respond. I'm going to put in the description the type of elastic, size I used. The thread I used doesn't matter at all. Use whatever you want. Hope this helps. I'm going to start by the back. This is the hardest part, and honestly it's not that hard. So if you're looking at the back, check out how you see this major line here. I'm looking at the one running parallel to it, or perpendicular. And so up here, you can see right here, I just need to remove one of these stitches. Okay, right here. If I snip this, the rest of it will be loose. Line here will block the rest of the thread, and it's not a major seam, so nothing's going to come unraveled, but it now allows you access to this back portion. Alright, so you've gotten this one done. You're going to do the same thing on this side. Again, remember, or I should say, for the first time, always make sure you're working on, this is the inside, always make sure you're working on the outside portion of this one here. Done. That's it. Now you have access to the back panel. So now we've gotten access to this back casing where the elastic is going to go, and I hope this is clear. This is where, look at your tag, it's this portion where my thumb is running that we're going to put the elastic. Now we don't need elastic on the whole piece of it. I've measured that it's about on, well, I'll show you. This is the example I'm using or basing this off of. The elastic on this one seems to start around where my left thumb is and end right around here where my right thumb is. So when I stretched that out, it was about 8 inches. Now I'm actually going to start on this larger one, so we'll see how long that is. So I have 2 different sizes of elastics. I got both of these from Wazzoodle. Here's the exact description. It was polyester braided elastic, that's important, 1/4 inch wide. I also got a larger size. I think you could do it, this entire thing, with one of these, either one, but I like that they are different size. So this one was 3/8 size, and if you want to compare, this is a 1/4 and this is the 3/8. So the 1/4 I put on the back side of it, and the 3/8 for the 2 leg portions. So again, this is I'm doing the top portion, the back portion on the outside, and I showed you how I measured from just inside the tag to about here. So it's 8 inches. So for elastic, you just need to do half of that. And then I cut it in half again. So I only need one of these, a 4-inch section for the back. For the leg portion, I'm just going to turn it to the side, and then I measure. You can still see where the old elastic is here, so I use that as a base. But if yours isn't obvious, I don't know if you can see these 3 threads, 1, 2, 3. That's about where the elastic ends and begins, I should say. So the same as on this side. So I'm measuring between those 2. On mine, if I pull it taut, it's actually close to 10 inches for the elastic. So I take my 3/8 elastic for the leg portion. So I'm going to measure out 10 inches, cut it in half. Now I've got 2 5-inch portions of the 3/8 elastics, and these will be for both legs. So I showed you starting out just cutting the back, and then I went on to cut the elastics. I like to kind of just get everything ready before I start sewing. You do whatever works for you. I'm pretty new to sewing, so I'm not at all claiming this is the way. Now that I have the back threads already cut here, I'm actually going to start closer to the tag, so maybe a little less than 1 inch, 2 centimeters. I found it's easiest if I take my seam ripper and just begin kind of a large section. I'm no longer afraid to cut holes in this because I'm going to You can see that hole there. I'm going to be sewing over it a bunch with zigzag stitches. Now I take a pretty big bobby pin, or sorry, safety pin. This is a 2-inch size and it's perfect the back. So I'm going to take the 1/4 inch elastic. I found when I first started, I just put the safety pin right over here at the very end, and it ripped out in the middle, and that was a hassle. So it has not ripped on me when I fold it over like this. And I leave an extra allowance like this much, and I'll explain in just a moment. Close my safety pin. I once tried to open it inside the casing thinking that I could recover a lost elastic, and it was a nightmare, so don't do that. So do you see that I've got the safety pin now going inside the casing that I was talking about, this kind of pocket, for lack of a better word? You're going to push the safety pin through and inchworm it along a little bit, but don't get too crazy because you want to save the end so that I know that the elastic isn't going to come loose. Tip of the elastic is at this very entrance. And now I'm going to zigzag stitch this back and forth like crazy to make sure it's really secured. So I've zigzagged it like crazy. The end of the elastic is right here. If you hold this up in natural light, you can see through this to make sure that the elastic is there, which is really helpful when you do the opposite end. I'll explain that in a second. So the safety pin is here. I'm going to keep inchworming it up. So I take my seam rip, but right about here, I'm going to it up, and the safety pin will come through. I pull it taut. Now, this is the advantage of having extra allowance here. I hold down with my left thumb tightly onto the elastic because I don't want it to spring out. Open up the safety pin, take it out, but I like to have about an inch from where I'm going to sew, because just the way my sewing machine works, I need that much of a gap in order to sew it. The tip of the elastic is right here, and I'm going to do that same zigzag stitch like crazy over it to clamp it down. Okay, here's the back all done. It's not super clenched, which is good. I think you don't want it too tight, but at least we'll hold in that back end. The legs are done just the same way. I think they're a lot easier, but I'll demonstrate. Okay, so to do the legs, remember we're working on the back outside of the diaper. This is the inside where the poop goes. We're going on the outside, and I'm going to look where the old elastic was. These 3 stitches that I'm talking about, 1, 2, 3. This is about where the elastic ends on this side, and then we're going to go all the way to the other side, where roughly 1, 2, 3, these stitches is where the old elastic ends. So I'm going to make a little incision on this side, put in the elastic with the pin, clamp the end down with the zigzag stitch so the elastic is secured. I'll caterpillar my little safety pin with the elastic all the way through the casing, and then on this side where these 3 little stitches are, I'm going to make another little indentation, pull out the elastic, tamp it down. I want to be mindful if when you make your incision, try to make it as close. So if you keep it towards the serged end, you won't have to unpluck any stitches, unlike how we had to unpluck the stitches when we did the back side. So here we go. Gonna make a little indentation right up here, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to take that 3/8 elastic, fold it over, poke it through, secure the safety pin, poke the safety pin through here, and then caterpillar it through. Sometimes it gets caught initially, that's okay. So caterpillar it through, but then again, not too far because I want to keep an eye on this end. Right about here. Now I'm going to go zigzag stitch this down. I've zigzagged the end of the elastic down, and my safety pin is right here. See it there. I'm going to pull, begin to inchworm it down, and then I'm going to stop. Do you see this is where those 3 stitches stop? Make the hole for the safety pin to come out over here, but I'm going to keep it close to the serged edge so that I know I can get out again. So with my seam ripper, make a little hole here. Pull the safety pin out. And then I've got all this excess elastic, which is just fine. First going to secure my thumb, my left thumb, open the safety pin with my right hand, put the safety pin to the side, and then I'm going to ease up on the elastic just enough to let the edge kind of come. Okay, this leg side is, pardon me, this leg is secure now. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. This is the side I have not done yet. This is the side I did do. That's pretty clear, the difference.